Hi everyone, welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. How is everyone doing? Can you guys hear me and see me? Yes. Hi everyone. Welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. This is such a nice and lovely Thursday, and I have quite a few books to share with everyone. Pokraj is here, and my mic just fell down. Hi everyone. Um, Market Crorepati wants Brahmastra review. I think you've come to the wrong stream. But anyways, hi Anubhav, how are you? Hi Omkar, hi Deval. Rashid is here. Ananya is here, nice. God, nice. Anyways, before we get to Brahmastra and everything, did you guys see Kitaabi Rakshak? I think this is the first live stream that we're doing after Kitaabi Rakshak. Apart from the obvious Friday stream with vaibhav. I haven't even started yet at Pokraj. Thank you so much, Pokraj. It kind of really makes me happy and gives a boost to my confidence. But nice. Yeah, that mic couldn't take your star power. Not at all. By the way, I think I started early. I started at 9. We were supposed to start at 9:30. I came in early, and I think I started at 9:28. I was ready to start streaming at 9:20, but then I thought this will be a wrong um, precedent that I'll be setting for VM Square streams because we're always late. Um, but hi, Ankita. Hi, Explain Data is here. I'm seeing you after such a long time. And so, yes, guys, what do you think of Kitaabi Rakshak? How is it? Uh, I was super embarrassed by the video. And then I only saw positive comments. And I was like, hey, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I am capable of being a superhero. Um, but yes, I also saw Brahmastra, by the way, guys. Would love to know your opinions, but I do not want the stream to become about Brahmastra. Anyways, so I have a lot of what do you say? I have a lot of recommendations. Um, and if you haven't subscribed to my newsletter already, please do so. If any of the mods are watching, let me just quickly check. If any of the mods are watching, please share this. Okay, I don't think any of the mods are watching. But anyways, you can subscribe to the newsletter. I'll be sharing the link in the comments section below. And I share recommendations almost every what is it called? Almost every Sunday or Monday. And it's usually fun. I don't know, people who have subscribed to the newsletter can, I should make myself the moderator, first of all. But I can't. I'm not able to, of course, because I'm not a moderator. Anyways, I genuinely, in other news, started working out recently, and I have this happy high all the time. And I no longer need chocolates and coffee, which I did until last a few weekends ago. But now I can't find my comment. Great. Anyway, moving on, if you haven't subscribed to the newsletter yet, I would recommend you do, because and also like the stream, the more you recommend, the more it gets recommended to people. But yes, so I recommend my most favorite stuff from the week in that newsletter. It varies from music. Well, there is a piece of music at the bottom of the newsletter every weekend, but there are also quotes, there are books, there are also products that you can get from Amazon, which I am obsessing over. Like this week, I'm going to recommend a hair product, which I think will benefit most of us. It has been benefiting me at least. And apart from that, yeah, so newsletter has a lot of things, from books to products to stuff that I'm up to, basically, and the things that I have been loving over the week. I am trying to be regular with it. And I have been more or less regular, barring a couple of weeks when I was sick or out traveling. But do subscribe to the, and I've just shared the link here. And I'm going to pin this message so you can subscribe to it. Anyways, Akshat is here. Hi, Akshat. How are you? I was going to read Hey Vani and then I realized, yes. Started drinking coffee after watching your vaibhav stream. Oh my God. But you know what? My coffee intake. So I stopped drinking coffee after 2018. I think, yeah, that's absolutely when I stopped drinking coffee. And then it was more or less like, I would drink coffee and then I would control it. And more or less like I was sober for until now. And then a few weeks ago, I was supposed to travel to some location and I slept basically. I had a rough week. There was a lot of work and I wasn't getting proper sleep. And the travel was important. And I was traveling with a few people, so I couldn't do a grumpy face at 6 in the morning. And I had slept at 3 um, because I was thinking I should not sleep because I had a early morning flight. So I had to be at the airport at 6 a.m. So I was thinking if I sleep now, I won't be able to wake up. So I tried to pull an all-nighter, but then I forgot I'm no longer in engineering college. So anyways, I slept at 3-ish, 30-ish, and I woke up and I couldn't open my eyes. And at the airport, I had black coffee. And all of a sudden, I realized coffee is a great energy booster. And then since then, I was drinking coffee after coffee after coffee, and it got really, really bad. Like I couldn't sleep because my coffee intake was so much. But now I'm down to one coffee, maybe 2 coffee things in a day. Yeah. But I'm trying to reduce it. So it really, really gives you energy, but it's not necessarily good. Because Priyanka Chopra taught us in one of her interviews that if you need coffee in your life to stimulate you, that means you're probably doing something wrong. Anyways, moving on. Hey, Yash is here. Hi, Yash. I'm so glad people are bringing popcorn. Like it's a nice energy, it's a nice vibe. And I also have a lot of recommendations for this week. I should probably show you guys the cover, or maybe I should once I start talking about them. Also, let me know, guys. I'm trying to get guests for the streams as well. Would you like to do streams with guests, or would you just like to bear with me? Which is going to be difficult, obviously, in the long run. But anyways, I also posted an Instagram story about the stream where I said Ajo, and there's this new filter on Instagram which I'm currently obsessed with. It kind of shows you your colored hair and it also makes you a little more prettier. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about what's pretty, what's not, but I just thought I looked slightly prettier in that filter. I just realized that was kind of slightly politically incorrect, right? Anyways, I think I have to introspect what I say sometimes in streams. Anyway, also somebody, a few weeks ago commented about anyway and anyways. And I wanted to, let's move on from there. So I posted a story about the stream on my Instagram where there was a Leonard Cohen, this particular book on my laptop keyboard, and there was the color. And I just posted new hair, new me. And there were a couple of people who texted me, hey, you got your hair colored. And I was so happy, even though I know that filter is not very realistic, but I was like, okay. Somebody just realized I'm a computer science engineering student. Yeah. I don't realize it as well from time to time. That's Omkar. Anshit is present. This is nice. We should actually mark our attendance. We wasted 8 minutes already, but I think we can waste 2 more minutes in attendance. If you're here, comment present, ma'am, or whatever. That's perfect. Like Anshit, we're following your lead. Anyway, I'm doing this in a very wrong way. Okay, so this is Leonard Cohen's book, and I don't want to wrong the people who came here because of that story. So obviously, you're going to be disappointed because of the hair. But the next story was also like, okay, it's more like a filter and shiz. But I'm also going to talk about this book, and this will be the first book we talk about because we do not want to disappoint the people, and I don't want to make my stories a clickbait, right? Naira is here, Explain Data is here, Anchit is here, Deval is here representing the Pune Mafia, Trishala is here. Trishala is here for the first time. Yay, nice. I hope you like the stream eventually and get to take a few recommendations back home. Ananya is here. What is my view on Z Library versus publisher's case and the court verdict? Oh, I don't know about that. Is that why it's not been working? Adharv, can you just tell me a little more about it? I personally use the library a lot. So I don't know. Manik is here. Rashid is here. Samim is here. 13 years of. Hey, Gunti is here. Nice. He's my Insta friend. 13 years on coffee, 9 months without it, not going back for sure. Yeah, right. Life is much better without coffee. But then once you get back on coffee, you realize what you were missing on. Coffee is kind of nice. Omkar is here. And he just coded enter your presence. Print present, return 0. Nikhil is here. Alok is here. This is nice, guys. Unsettled Navigator is also here. Rana Babu. Oh, that's a very interesting YouTube name. I should take cues. Anyway, so I'm going to start with this book that I'm going to talk about. Sabse pehle. I've already spoken about it in a lot of my streams, but a few weeks ago, I went back to this because I don't think I've recommended the whole series actually. So there's this bookstore in Chandigarh. It's the Baharisans branch. It's in Sector 8, and they have a lot of these collections. Like this is from the Everman's Library Rocket Pocket Poets, not Rocket Poets, Pocket Poets. And this particular book is a collection of Leonard Cohen's poetry, and they also have it for multiple poets. Like I have two more copies. I think one is for T.S. Eliot and the other one is for Whitman. I can't see without my specs. And so this one is for Leonard Cohen, and I love it because he's one of my favorite lyricists, and he's also written my most favorite lyrics, which is One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. And I love the Gregory Alan Isakov version. So I'll address the comments after this one. And I just wanted to read it out to all of you. And if you actually enjoy poetry, of course, you would love Leonard Cohen. I've also recommended one of his novels. I think it's Beautiful Losers. I really like Leonard Cohen. There's no hiding that. But if you're someone who's into poetry, of course, go ahead and read more of Leonard Cohen. The reason why, obviously, you can explore more books, but the reason why I recommend Library Pocket Poets is because you have some of the best collection of poetry from the collected works published here. And if you are someone who just wants to read something on a whim, you don't want to sit down with a book, an anthology of sorts, pick up Pocket Poets. It's one of the best things to have when you've read everything or when you want to start. So if you're someone who is not into poetry, but really wants to get a rough idea of it, who wants to start with it, I think pocket editions are the best. And especially if you're someone who really does not understand deep, dark poetry, Leonard Cohen's lyrics are really wonderful because that's something I grew up listening to, so I really find it easy to understand and connect with. So this is one. And I really want to tell you about One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. It's one of my favorite songs. And I think the cover has been done by Gregory Alan Isakov, and that's the only version I've heard. And that's the only version I plan on listening to for a long time because it's absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, but I am going to read something else, I think, only because I realized I've read it in every single stream. Okay. Trying to find. Oh, there's this one. Anyways, I'll answer the comment first. Pratish is saying, reading after a long time, started with a new book, with a book of simple living. After one of your videos, such a treat. Hey, nice. It's actually wonderful. And I know it's by Ruskin Bond, but it reminds me of, for some reason, Khushwant Singh. And there's this lit fest that's happening in Kasauli, Himachal. I think it's happening on 14th, 15th, 16th. It's the Khushwant Singh Literature Festival. It'll happen at Kasauli Club. And if you guys are around or are planning to visit the mountains, do try visiting it during those days. I think during those dates, I think I might be there as well. I'm planning right now. But even if I'm not, you guys should definitely visit because I've heard some great things about the whole festival. And if you are watching us, and if you're one of the people from the organizing committee, please get in touch. Anyway, Market Karopati went to the Central Library in downtown Austin yesterday, and it's amazing. Wow. Is there any mod that's watching? Could you guys please share the link of this particular book in the comments? Dhruv, have I heard about this stone? Oh yes, I have. Read the article in the Hindu. Availability of academic books and research papers, how publishers are misusing their reach. Okay, I'm back. Pokraj, welcome back. Where did I get my hard copy of? I got it off. So actually, a very dear friend gifted it to me on my birthday. So that's where I got it from. But if you want to get a similar copy, it's also available on Amazon. You can find it there, actually. Yes. Oh, you put The Lonely City. Have you been enjoying it? Have you started reading Trishala? Or Trishla? I'm sorry. Does style make a difference? I've read authors people have recommended but cannot get into them due to the style. My recommendation is to try out with lucid style of writing. Yeah, I think Nigel, style really matters. There are artists that people really enjoy. There are writers people really enjoy reading, but I can't get into them because I do not write like their style of writing. And there are people I absolutely admire, and some people hate them absolutely for their writing style. So I think it really is it varies from individual to individual. And you do you, whatever you want to read. That's absolutely phenomenal. Recently broke up. Any recommendations? Well, I was listening to this song today, and somebody said, does anyone even listen to such songs when they break up? And I was like, no. So, and that song was not emotional attachar, emotional attachar from Dave D, the movie. So, and Ja Chudel from Delhi Belly. So I don't know. But yeah, not the best recommendations, I know. Hey, have you read? No. I haven't, Alok. I haven't. Also, I just visited Kasoli around last week. What a pretty place. Yeah, the only thing I do not like about Kasoli is it begins and then it ends. Like, Kasoli is tiny, but it's absolutely beautiful. I want Ruskin Bond to be jealous of. There's a Ruskin Bond festival also happening in October. Oh, yes, it is. And it's happening in Missouri, I think. And I really hope we get to do an episode with Ruskin Bond soon. We are planning to do it post the fest. And I just hope it materializes. Because I've been trying to get him on the channel for as long as I can remember. And I think we're finally close to cracking it. He has an Insta handle, which is managed by somebody else, but do spam it and ask them to make sure they come and show up on the channel. I'll start reading it. I'll be buying Dorian Gray. Yes. Please participate in a book a month. And I am really sorry. I think I forgot to answer one of the questions that was there. What is the plan for the underliners? That is also something that I'm planning. What do you guys recommend for the underliners? I am pretty certain about I'm pretty certain about 3 people who are going to be underliners. Actually, 2 people who are going to be underliners. But yes. If I'm heartbroken, read PG Water. Emotional damage. Emotional is more like, it's like, okay, sorry, no. Why? Bhuvan Mishra. Most channels like Anka. Yeah, I'll definitely look them up. What is the book that I'm currently reading? I hope this question is for me. If I have Ruskin Bond in the channel, my friends will. If I have Ruskin Bond in the channel, I will lose it. And I know the episode is going to happen one way or another sometime next month. And every time I try to think of the questions that I'll sit down and ask him, I'm confused because what do I talk to him about? He talks about, he has this series, right? And he really shows you the kind of person he is. And every time I think of speaking with him, my mind goes a little blank and I do not want to stammer in front of him. Excuse me, a book recommendation dictator is asking for opinions. uh, I just, on completely different note, I started gymming recently and I did abs yesterday. So today when I laugh, it hurts. Uh, I really want to get my copies signed as well. I only want to get one copy signed, which is the Book of Simple Living. I also wanted to get my blue umbrella ki copy signed, but I realized the blue umbrella copy that I have is very ugly. Although you shouldn't like really be that superficial. But anyways, we were at the book, guys. We were at the book. And I'm going to read, if you give me a minute, I am going to read, I'll just read One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. Let's just make it into a tradition. Oh, there's also, hey, that's no way to say goodbye, but all of us have heard this song anyway. But I'm going to read the first one. It's called it's called One of Us Cannot Be Wrong. And I think it's by a lover for anyway. I lit a thin green candle to make you jealous of me. But the room just filled up with mosquitoes. They heard that my body was free. Then I took the dust of a long sleepless night and I put it in your little shoe. And then I confess that I tortured the dress that you wore for the world to look through. There are 3 more stanzas, and eventually this book is about a lover. I do not know if his love is reciprocated, but it's about how different people have come to really, I'm not even sure if he's talking about a woman now. But when I first heard it, I thought it was about a woman who's probably admired by a lot of people. And he's just telling how different people idealize this woman. And now the more that I read it every time, I think it becomes more than a woman. It's about happiness in life. So you try to live your life to make people jealous of you, but it gets difficult for you. So then he's like, I showed my heart to the doctor. He said, I'd just have to quit. Then he wrote himself a prescription and your name was mentioned in it. Then he locked himself in a library shelf with the details of our honeymoon. And I hear from the nurse that he's gotten much worse and his practice is all in a room. And if you listen to the Gregory Alan Isakov version of this poem, you will hate how I'm reading it right now. But this is absolutely wonderful. I heard of a saint who had loved you. I studied all night in his school. He taught that the duty of lovers is to tarnish the golden rule. And just when I was sure that his teachings were pure, he drowned himself in a pool. His body is gone, but back here on the lawn, his spirit continues to drool. An Eskimo showed me a movie he'd recently taken a few. The poor man could hardly stop shivering. His lips and his fingers were blue. I suppose that he froze when the wind tore off your clothes, and I guessed he just never got warm. But you stand there so nice in your blizzard of ice. Oh, please let me come into the storm. So I think I still have to get a better interpretation of it. But this is one of my favorite writings of Leonard Cohen, and this is what poem. Oh, I said poem. I don't know why. It took me a lot of time to make peace with at least one particular pronunciation of poem, and I think I've made of this. What book are we discussing here? It's here. It's right here. And there are a couple more books that I want to talk about. So for the past few weeks, I've been reading to and fro before I go to bed. And there's this new routine that I've built up recently. Although this new routine started 2 days ago, but okay. So I usually have warm honey ginger tea before I go to bed, and I take 15 minutes to sip that tea, and I read something really nice while some nice somber music is playing in the background. And I have to make sure that this music is very decent. So I've also been discovering a lot of nice artists who play piano. And you would have known it had you subscribed to the newsletter, which is a comment that's pinned in the chats. But oh, Bhuvan, I was thinking about it. I was thinking to invite Namita. Actually, she's wonderful. But I'll do that now. Anyway, you guys make me forget stuff that I'm saying with your comments. So that's what I do recently. Ginger lemon tea before I go to bed, and I read from bits from different books. Uh, Having said that, I should also start with my picture of Dorian Gray. I've started with it, but I'm a little slow there. Wow. The next book that I really want to talk about is Flights by Olga Tokarczuk. I don't know how to talk about. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I started reading this book last year. I don't remember the month, but I was traveling to. Oh no, this month, 12th March 2022. I have the flight tickets to where I was traveling to. So I started reading it this year, but apparently, I think it was to Jaipur Lit Fest. I don't know. So I started reading this book, and then I forgot it at our office in Jaipur, Chalchitro's office in Jaipur, and I never finished it. But I recently started going back to it, and I started from page number 1 because I realized how much stuff I had underlined. And it won the Man Booker International Prize in 2018. And no doubt, with the amount of underlining that I've done, wow, I've also highlighted something, which I usually do when I've underlined something, but it's not given me. Sometimes when you underline in books, you want to make peace. You want to be happy that you've underlined something because there's this certain sense of relief that comes with underlining something that you've loved, because you found something that you so truly resonate with. And then there are moments where you underline something and you double underline it, you triple underline it, you underline like crazy, but it doesn't make peace and it doesn't bring the same sense of relief. And in those moments, I highlight stuff, and I hate permanent ink in my books. I did that to my first copy of Great Gatsby, and I still hate myself. Anyway, so this is a book about flights, and I'm going to read this one. I did not know how to listen. I did not observe boundaries. I'd slip into transference. I did not believe in statistics or verifying theories. The postulate of one personality to one person always struck me as overly minimalist. I had a tendency to blur what seemed clear and to question irrefutable arguments. It was a habit I had. A mental yoga, the subtle pleasure of experiencing internal motion. I would examine with suspicion every judgment, turn each one over in my mouth until finally I figured out what I'd expected. Not a single one of them was right. They were all fakes, knockoffs. I did not want to have set opinions, which were just excess baggage. And I underlined this particular line because I have a lot of opinions. But anyway, I did not want to have set opinions, which were just extra baggage. In debates, I'd be on one side one time and the other the next, which I know never endeared me to my interlocutors. I was witness to a strange phenomenon that occurred in my mind. The more I would find arguments for something, the more arguments against it would occur to me. And the more I grew attached to those arguments in favor, the more alluring the opposition became. How were they supposed to analyze others when it was hard enough for me to get through all those tests? Personality diagnostics, surveys, multiple columns of MCQs all struck me as too hard. I noticed this handicap of mine right away, which is why at university, whenever we were analyzing each other for practice, I would give all my answers at random. Whatever happened to occur to me. And then I've made a mental note exactly why we're never going to do psychoanalysis of people. But yeah, I'm quickly going to address the comments. Also, please have a book recommendation. Yeah. A recommendation for me. Nice. Thank you. Follow Your Heart. Read Letters to Sam by Daniel Gottlieb. It's a book on grandfather's lesson on love, loss. Like, hey, that's very interesting. I would love to read it. Ryopi, is that how you pronounce it? Is a great piano artist and I highly recommend his work. Yeah, I've been following Ankita. I've been following your guys for a while. You're my favorite now. I was just curious to know, what do you expect? Uh, what do you do except YouTube? I mean, like career wise. Okay. Dhruv, we're trying to make this our full-time job. Dhruv, oh wow, yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have his address either. Leonard Cohen. Thank you so much, Akash. Sometimes you underline some things in life that you can't underline it. You have to carry the baggage of those underlined moments. Yes. Hey Siri. Oh no, don't. Oh shit. Why? Alexa is already. No wait.
One option is Hotel Ocean.
Alexa is already giving me like a lot of trouble. Siri, I don't want Siri to become another one. Mughal India by Arthur Ali. Jeez. Are you disappointed in this live stream, Ghanshyam? Because I really do not get your comment. Guys, do like the stream. The more you like the stream, the more it gets recommended to people. So this is another book that I really like. Flights by. And then, okay, this is something I've ticked thrice. I don't know why. Okay. I'd wind up with the strangest personality profiles, curves on a coordinate axis. Do you believe that the best decision is also the decision that is easiest to change? Do I believe? What kind of decision? Change? When? Easiest how? When you walk into a room, do you tend to head for the middle or the edges? What room and when? Is the room empty or are there plush red couches in it? What about the windows? What kind of view do they have? The book question. Would I rather read one than go to a party, or does it also depend on what kind of book it is and what kind of party? What a methodology. It is assumed that people don't know themselves, but that if you furnish them with questions that are smart enough, they'll be able to figure themselves out. They pose themselves a question and they give themselves an answer, and they'll inadvertently reveal to themselves that secret they knew nothing of till now. And there is that other assumption, which is terribly dangerous, that we are constant and that our reactions can be predicted. And I really like Flights. So we've discussed 2 books by now. We're going great in terms of the classroom lessons. But I've been dying to pick this up as a major. Oh, we can do this book in a book a month. Anyway, not going to drop names, but I have Flights in my TBR. Vishwesh is here. Hi, Vishwesh. How are you? Chinmay is also here. Vishwesh, I have Flights in my TBR for some time, but I haven't gone to it. I haven't got to it. Now I'm starting with Picture of Dorian Gray once I'm done with. I think you also commented something about Picture of Dorian Gray. We also have Picture of Dorian Gray, yes. But I'm yet to move past with Picture of Dorian Gray in my life. But I'm hoping I'll be able to complete it on time because it's it sounds very interesting from what I've read. But I'm just not getting the time to take it out for a date, for a 1-hour date at least, so that I get started with it. You don't have anything on Kindle? I do have stuff on Kindle, but my Kindle is like very far off and I haven't been doing any reading on Kindle. Jibin is here. Hi, Jibin. How are you? Monica. Thank you, Monica. That's really sweet. Jesus. Ghanshyam's message is haunting. Hi, Chanda Sharma. How are you? The next book that I really want to talk about, I'm not sure if the episode is out yet. So we are starting this new series. For everyone who's watching, do like the stream. And because you're watching right now, we're starting this new series on Kitaabi Cabins, where Vaibhav and I, or perhaps even more people, will sit down in a setting, which will be an offline setting probably. And we are going to talk about our favorite reads. Could be lyrics, could be poetry, could be novels, could be anything that has to be read. And anything that is writing, basically. And we're going to just rant about how beautiful it is. I hope we never reach a space where we run out of things that to talk about, things that we passionately love. because it's kind of stressful to talk about things that you do not like. I'll come to this at the end. This is another book. No, this is another book that I want to talk about. It's called Time is a Mother, and it's one of the most recent books by Ocean Vuong, and I absolutely love Ocean Vuong. I was watching the other day. I was not able to sleep, so I was watching his. I was watching this interview of his where he talks about being vulnerable, as, and he also talks about in detail his experience of being a professor and what kind of teacher does he aspire to be. The way he talks is very it bothers me at times because I do not have that much patience. But in that interview, I think I was listening to it when it was 1 in the morning, and I got very emotional. And for a moment, I turned off everything except the lights. And so I wasn't listening to any song, I wasn't reading anything. And I just sat there thinking, how fortunate are we as humankind, or how fortunate am I to be alive at the same time as Ocean Vuong? I know this is like borderline fangirling, but we've had wonderful writers. Oscar Wilde, the one we picked up for a book a month. Ernest Hemingway, the one we recently picked up for a book a month. There are multiple authors who I love, but they're no longer here. But then to be alive at the same time as somebody you know you love, like Aga Shahid Ali. No. But then to be alive at the same time, it's all of a sudden it was such a nice thing. And I was listening to that conversation and I just feel like, hey, I admire the right person. And I felt a sort of validation because I usually avoid listening to interviews of people I absolutely admire, absolutely love, because then I think I will discover something which will make me fall out of love with them. And then I saw this interview and I just thought it was absolutely wonderful. I'm actually, you know what? I'm going to try find this and I'm going to share the interview with you guys in the comments. And if anybody likes it, do share your reviews with me. Well, that's mostly it. And yeah, what are your favorite interviews, guys? Do you have any recommendations for me? Hey, Vani, I want to see Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the. Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful book, but I'm not sure if it's under, it falls in our budget. I finished reading The Reader, Flipped, No One Belongs. Nice. Let them know, Uncle. Wow. That's a very, very interesting name of a YouTube channel. There was also something called Rana. I can't remember the name of that channel, but it was really nice. So now I want to talk about Time is a Mother. I'm yet to start reading it because I started reading it and I did not, for lack of a better phrase, appreciate. I was not able to appreciate the writings. But you know how we used to have books where there was the plot at the back instead of the reviews and just the cover, and then you had the final page about the author, and then a couple of pages were empty at the end. Well, this book comes with reviews at the end, nothing special. The information about the author is here, the cover is here without any reviews, etc., which is great. But at the end of this book, you will discover not one, not two, not three, but a lot of empty pages that you can scribble your heart out on. So, and I discovered it, and for some time, for a minute or two, I just went crazy. But yes, Favorite interview which you did with Dhruv Sehgal. Oh, thanks, Manish. You're very kind. I hope you'll show up in our next offline meetup as well. The next book that I want to talk about, there are four books that we've already spoken about. The next book that I want to talk about is this book by Maria Popova. It's called The Velocity of Being. And these are letters to young readers. And this is edited by Maria Popova and Claudia Bedrick. If my audio actually goes off, guys, please let me know because I'm moving a lot. And I realize it might be problematic for a lot of you to listen to me carefully and nicely. I'm going to come back to India in January. When and where will Chalchitra team be together so I can catch you all? Hi, Nikhil. Will we have Pune headquarters by then? Let's pray we do. You'll catch us in Jaipur for sure. And if you're coming back to India, Nikhil is, by the way, our oldest godfather. And he has always been a pillar of strength for us. But like, if you're coming back to India, we'll come pick you up from the airport, Nikhil. But yeah, on a serious note, we're planning to do something for the Pune patrons as well. The godfathers and gladiators who are from Pune. Pune Mafia represent. So much so, I'm also part of their Pune Mafia group, even though I'm not from Pune. But in any case, that's that. We are planning something. Interview of my skin, with Bhardwaj Rangan. Nice. These North Indian people have no interest in Kolkata. I want to come to Kolkata, but nobody's sponsoring my flight tickets or stay. But this is A Velocity of Being. And this is one of my favorite books because, and I make some of my friends read from, I never let anybody borrow it, but this is a book which I show everyone who's trying to get into reading because there are certain letters in this book. There are letters in this book which are dedicated to kids. And there are some of the best thinkers of the world who've written why you should read. And then there are also beautiful graphics. And I think this is something just fell. A receipt from 2021. So, such a difficult thing to carry. Yes, Yasha said, please read the Alan de Botton wala letter. It's one of my favorite letters ever. So, and because you've requested, I'm going to jump there. Okay, this is it, page 24. So this is this is the art that's against the letter of Alan de Botton, letter, and you can click a screenshot actually and post it on Instagram. I'll reshare. Sometimes it's so nice to give FOMO to people. No, I secretly love it because then people are like, oh my god, you were discussing this, I missed it. And I'm like, well, what can I do? I'm a material guru. I am. Anyway, so it says, dear reader, we wouldn't need books quite so much if everyone around us understood us well. But they don't. Even those who love us get us wrong. They tell us who we are but miss things out. They claim to know what we need but forget to ask us properly first. They can't understand what we feel. And sometimes we are unable to tell them because we don't really understand it ourselves. That's where books come in. They explain us to ourselves and to others and make us feel less strange, less isolated, and less alone. We might have lots of good friends, but even with the best friends in the world, there are things that no one quite gets. That's the moment to turn to books. They are friends waiting for us anytime we want them, and they will always speak honestly to us about what really matters. They are the perfect cure for loneliness. They can be your very closest friend. Yours, Ellen. So, well, there's another one that I want to talk about. It's one of my most favorite I don't know, art of this book. It just take me a minute to discover it, but I'm going to soon. Okay, I really like a lot of them. There's this particular one which is very pretty. It's like, this is how I imagine childhood to be like when you read. So the girl can imagine herself under a tree. She can imagine her opening a box, sitting outside the box, under the box, on a chair, as a witch. Actually, as a person, Harry Potter ke house like Gryffindor. Yes. And on a boat, in a hot air balloon, and she's everywhere. Life is nice when you read. I also don't want to sound like somebody who's very preachy when it comes to reading, but if you are looking to gift somebody something, I would say like a velocity of being is great. And yeah, just a reminder. And coming to Ellen de Botton, because we just read Ellen de Botton, I really want to talk about this book that I've recommended previously as well. And I think there are how many people watching? Okay, cool. So we are, sorry, something in my eye. Just disappointment. Okay. Anyway, so I recently got a haircut, in case you didn't notice, and I got my layers cut, and I believe, for lack, with all my heart, with no offense to anyone, I believe hairdressers are sadists, because you ask them to cut just like an inch off, and an inch to them is 15 centimeters. So this is the school of life. And I started reading this actually before I started reading the stream. I started streaming, and I thought I'd read it with all of you. It is from the passage Strangers to Ourselves. And there's going to be a video on this book out like pretty soon. And School of Life is also one of the books that I'm going to pick up for one of the future streams, one of the future ABAMs. So please just continue on monitoring its price, because the moment it drops, please buy it, because it retails for $700 otherwise, which usually falls under the falls in the budget of most of the people, but just in case it doesn't. I'm a new reader. I read self-help books like Atomic Habits and Ikigai, but I want to read different genres. So what are different types of categories and the main difference between them? It's such a difficult question. I've read the School of, but I'm going to make a ouch video on it. Yeah, Viral, nice to know. Why would you recommend it to people? Because you're the only person, I think, you're one of the few people on the stream right now who has read Picture of the Dorian Grace. Why would you recommend it to people? Do you also like it? Hey, Vani, a humble request. Do you by any chance still have the treasure trove of short stories? I do. I do have it, Suyash. I am not sure if I have it here though. Yeah, I don't have it here, but I have it at home. And I also have The Golden Lyre, which was the poetry collection. But, well, yeah, it's one of my most prized possessions. It also has my notes from class 10th, and I go back to it from time to time. And there are days when I like my handwriting, and there are days where I hate myself. I once had a haircut that got me into trouble. Nice. The hairdresser was inspired by Arjun Kapoor, and he shaved the back of my head, but left the front as is. Wow. Hey, thanks, Pokraj. And yes, so many videos. I do have great videos on books. Watch them. Sometimes, like, I forget that I have to plug my content as well. So do watch some of the videos that we post in Kitaabi Cabins. Watch all the videos that we post in Kitaabi Cabins. Get us more views. See, eventually we are targeting that we hit at least 10K on this channel before. I mean, technically I wanted to do so last month. But let's see. Are you that person who would buy different editions of a book you really cherish? I am that person. Is anybody in the comments who is not that person? Also, please let me know if you are that person, and what other books that you have different editions of. And if you're not that person, please let me know, because I would want some inspiration. Oh, yeah, Karan Gill is going to be on the channel soon. Just not sure when, Shashank. Um, oh, I love Stephen. Yes. I'm going to read this with you guys, actually. Please give me a minute. Yeah. But before we move on, we are going to read this one. By okay, it's by Steven Pinker, who is Johnston Professor of Psychology at Harvard University and the author of several books about language, mind, and human nature. His love of language became the love of his life. He met his wife thanks to an irregular verb. So I really like the introductions that they've given to a lot of people, and they haven't described the most famous works, but they've written simplified things that would concern kids without intimidating them. So here it goes. How much of the book can you see? Cool. I don't know. It's very difficult to hold this book. This is the art form that's against the letter. Thank you for the reminder. I can't find you in the comments. Let them know, Uncle. What a name. Anyway, dear reader, our inventions are extensions of our bodies and our brains. Tools like screwdrivers, pliers, and hammers are extensions of our hands. They allow us to do things that our naked hands are not hard or strong enough to do. Running shoes, bicycles, and vehicles are extensions of our legs. Glasses, microscopes, and telescopes are extensions of our eyes. Cameras, voice recorders, and computers are extensions of our memories. And the printed word is an extension of language, of our ability to get inside the minds of other people by speaking and listening to them. Even without print, language is a powerful tool for expanding our minds. Other people can tell us what they have seen or learned, so we don't have to go through those experiences for ourselves. They can teach us how to do and make things. They can make promises and offers so we can cooperate with them. We can divide the labor in something we want to do together. One person can offer to bring food to a party, the other the drinks. But with reading and writing, language becomes billions of times more powerful. We can learn from people who live on the other side of the city or the country or the world. We can learn from people who are dead, and we can teach people who have not yet been born. We can build and do things with people we have never met face to face. There are billions of people we can learn from or work with, not just the few hundred we know in our everyday lives. Sorry. Reading allows us to get inside the heads of people who are very different from us. I'm going to drink water. A boy can appreciate a bit of what it's like to be a girl, and vice versa. An American can learn what it's like to be an Arab, or an African, and vice versa. An old person can learn what it's like to be a young person of today. A young person can predict what it will be like when he or she is older. That's why Of all human inventions, it's the printed word that multiplies our powers the most. Yours, Steve. And wow, my eye is tearing up. But yeah, this is I believe this is one of the best books I've ever invested in, and I really wish it were a gift so that it could be more special. But I gifted it to myself in the new year of 2021, and I think it was the best in when gift I ever gave myself. Actually, I'm planning to give the treasure trove of short stories to someone. Oh wow. Are you though? That's wonderful. I think you can find it on Amazon, Suyash. And I think in the video that I recommended it most recently, there's also the link. So views on Robert Greene and recommend. Wow, we just made a video on it recently. When I recorded one episode in it, but it's yet to be published. And I was actually going to talk about one of his books today. I do not have a problem with him. I just think you need to be very you just need to be of sound mind and emotions in order to be able to appreciate Robert Greene, or else it could sway in either direction. So these are the books that I genuinely wanted to talk about. I haven't spoken about one. So this is a book that I think has helped me more than my therapist could, even though they are wonderful people. I think School of Life is also a YouTube channel, right? It's also an Instagram page. I think it's an organization itself. And they make some really beautiful videos. But this particular book is, of course, an extension of the channel and everything it entails. But it's also, I think it will eventually become the guideline, the set of guidelines you need in your life to explore different relationships, right? And why School of Life is essential as an organization is because we grow up, we go to school, we explore life, we learn facts, we learn maths, we learn science, we learn language, we learn a lot of things, but we are never taught how to live a life that will bring most meaning to us. And School of Life is, among other things, I'm particularly talking about the book. It's helped me find different, at different moments, it's given me the right support in order to move on in life, in order to, when Ellen said the books will help you find a friend when you don't have any, School of Life is that book I would recommend to everyone. It'll become your teacher, it'll become a parent, it'll become the best friend you need, it'll become your sibling or whatever. I doubt, I don't have a problem with my siblings so far, no traumas there, but you never know. So this book is divided into 5 parts, basically. It talks about the self, your relationship with others, your relationships in general, your work, what you do, and the culture around us and how it defines who we are. And I usually pick it up from at random. I am not reading it cover to cover until my recent conversation with Vaibhav, after which, with all due credit to him, I decided to pick it up page by page in a chronological order. And I was going to read it before I started streaming, and I thought I'd share it with everyone who's still here. There are 61 people who are watching it. And you remember when we would do streams on Chalchitra Talks at 1 a.m, and we would talk about the most random things, and we would still be very friendly with each other, and we would take back something that would always help us emotionally. And that's what I wanted to do with this book. And I think this is the last discussion of the evening, last book of the evening today. But I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs. I'm not going to do the entire chapter because I'm aware people leave and people do not appreciate it. So I'm not going to bore everyone. But the title of this one is The Difficulty of Self-Knowledge. And this is something I've been struggling with a lot lately because I guess how I feel and then I double guess myself. And then there is a moment where I'm like, hey, do I even know myself? And then there are moments when people tell me how I am as an individual. And then I feel like, hey, is that person even right? And then come to think of it, maybe they are and maybe they are not. There's just a lot of confusion about discovering yourself. And then that brings me sometimes to the question like, hey, do I even know myself? I look at myself every day in the mirror, but how true is that image from what other people see or from who I am actually? So I was reading this and it's from the first part of the book, which is about self. So it says the difficulty of self-knowledge. And I think it's the first paragraph. If you want to, we can do a read along. We can just read from this book every week. One of our greatest challenges is to understand the peculiar content of own minds. We may look like the ultimate owners of our skulls, but we remain practical strangers to too much of what unfolds within them. A casual acquaintance may, in a few minutes of conversation, deduce more about our psyches than we have been able to determine psyches. I said something wrong. Than we have been able to determine across many decades. We are frequently the very last people to know what is at work within us. We suffer because there is no easy route to introspection. We cannot open a hatch and locate ourselves. We are not a fixed destination, but an eternally mobile, boundless, unfocused, vaporous spectre whose full nature can only be retrospectively deduced from painfully recollected glimpses and opaque hints. There is no time or vantage point from which to securely decode our archives of experience. There is too much data entering us at every moment for us to easily sift and arrange our sensations with the care and logic they deserve. Symptoms of our self-ignorance abound. We are irritable or sad, guilty or furious, without any reliable sense of the origins of our discord. We destroy a relationship that might have been workable under a compulsion we cannot account for. We fail to know our professional talents in time. We pass too many of our days under mysterious clouds of despair or beset by waves of persecution. We pay a very high price for our self-ignorance. And please let me know in the comments if you agree. Feelings and desires that haven't been examined linger and distribute their energy randomly across our lives. Ambition that doesn't know itself re-emerges as panic and transforms itself into bitterness. Anger turns into rage, sadness into depression. Disavowed material buckles and strains the system. We develop pernicious tics, a facial twitch, impotence, a compulsion, and unbudgeable sadness. Much of what destroys our lives can be attributed to emotions that our conscious selves haven't found a way to understand or to address in time. It is logical that Socrates should have boiled down the entire wisdom of philosophy to one simple command: know yourself. And that basically sums up what we're going to do in this part. But this also reminds me of this part in Elia Kazan's life, which I must thank Weber for, where Elia Kazan talks about his anger. And he says he developed a lump, but let me just get to this. That night I dreamed of, I just jumped from one book to another. This will be the last thing, I promise, but this just reminded me of it immediately. That night I dreamed of my father. He was smiling at me. Anyway, I'll move on. I'll move fast. And So basically, he's talking about how he never let his anger out, how he was always uh, patient with people. And then the higher I got, the more intense was the silence. He's climbing somewhere. Only the wind, which was a breeze that day, made a sound. Otherwise, there was an August calm. The silence, I thought, and those caves are the equivalent of my own silence and the privacy into which I've crawled for safety. Sometimes, instead of confronting people, in my case, for example, we just crawl back into our skin, we just crawl back into our shell, and we find it easy. Also, guys, I'm not a psychologist or a therapist, so do not take what I say for granted. On face value, sorry, do not take what I say on face value. Except it hadn't worked, not for me, crawling back for safety. It had resulted in the inner death that Kelman had called the lump. I think that's his doctor. I began to go over what he'd told me, began to taste the anger I should have felt at the reaction of certain friends to my testimony, feeling at last my proper response to being snubbed on the street and insulted in every way during those bad years. I began to talk to myself and broke the silence, responding at last to the organized effort to make me a non-person, to frighten people into not working with me. Kelman was right. I'd never allowed myself to feel that anger, but now the lump he'd talked about was stirring. I was feeling the anger I should have felt when, anyway, silence that had been my response. I trained myself to silence under any and all provocation. Silence is the safest condition for a refugee. Like these caves, I was in one now. How quiet it was in there, and how safe. I had trained myself not to feel. And then, like, cut to the end, he says, notice how in your past, every time you were angry, you were frightened. You have a right to anger. You don't have to earn it. Take it. Anger saves. And this is just something we are never taught in schools or in our lives, especially in this society where at least I grew up in. Certain emotions are quantified as being not quantified, that's the wrong word. Certain emotions are categorized as being ugly. And when we feel those, and when we want to express those emotions, we feel guilty. And I think anger is one of them. But anger makes you very bitter, I think. And most recently, I have not done anything to confront people, but I've just tried to understand the root of my anger so I can be less bitter. And I think it's been working. So, well, anyway, these were the books that we spoke about today, guys. And now we can move on to a quick, I'll have to use my chin and my face to support it because we discussed quite a few books. Yes, my wrist is not very strong. My gym trainer agrees. So these are the books that we talked about today. You can click a screenshot. You can share it with me so that people who weren't here get the FOMO. So that's the beauty of internet and our generation. We do a lot of serious reading, but then we go back to FOMO. Anyway, so let me know what was your favorite book and if there is anything that really helped you. And should we have more of these sessions? And who are the guests that you'd like to see in this stream? Also, a gentle reminder to hydrate yourself. ऐसी इंटेलेक्चुअल बातें बस कैजुअली हो जाती हैं इस चैनल पे. Hey, thanks, Nikhil. This is nice. Thank you. Hey, thanks, Rishal. I am glad these were helpful for you. I'm guessing because you said thank you, these were helpful. Nice. And now what part was relatable, Rajat? Oh, I think it was the Alan Burton self-knowledge wala part. So this is Elia Kazan's life. I haven't read it pura. So I've developed this terrible habit over the years of not finishing books. I jump from book to book, which has helped me discover a lot of books, but I haven't read them cover to cover and I'm embarrassed. Ellen DeBotton is truly like a parent figure, reassuring us at all times how similar we all are in our agony and irritation, grief and joy, no matter what the expression, no matter what the language. True. True. That's absolutely right. When you come to think of it, there are so many things that probably connect you and I so much, but we don't see that because of the face we put on when we are visiting and meeting other people. School of life is like yeah, I wish they would make it compulsory in schools. And I also, before I go, I just realized we also have, in case you're new to the channel, let me quickly tell you about a book a month. So we pick up a book every month together collectively, and at the end of the month, in the last week, sometime during the last week, we discuss the book. This month we're reading The Picture of Dorian Gray, uh, and this is a beautiful cover I got with it. And it says, "The purpose of literature is to turn blood into ink." It's by T.S. Eliot. Anyway, The Picture of Dorian Gray is, I beg you to read it because I realize I haven't been giving it a lot of attention. So this is wonderful. The rudest book versus Don't Shut Up, My Consular. Okay. We definitely want more of this. Nice. Adding School of Life to my list of books to read. Nice. I think we're going to pick up this book super soon for a book a month. I'm just not certain which month we should do this. I'm trying to keep it in a month where I have a lot of time. But let's see. Also, guys, what have you guys been up to? What have you been reading? I just realized I've finished all the material that I wanted to share with you in this live session. There'll be more in the next session. Do you want more of poetry next month, next week? Or should we read a short story next week? But I realize a lot of people leave when we're reading. We went down from a lot of users. We lost as much as I don't know how many, but yeah. Have I read The Midnight Library? I haven't. My sibling has, and he did not give me good reviews of the book. So I was like, hey, let me just take my own time with the book. Yeah. Gentle reminder to hydrate yourself again. Hi, Chetan. How are you? Long time no see. Short story. Great. We're going to do short story, but there's only one person who's voting for short story. I started reading Fortune Smiles through a short book recommendation, and I can't sleep at night. It's too good. Lovely. Recommend a few nice graphic. Oh, you know what? We haven't picked up this year? A graphic novel. I do want to pick one, but most of the ones that I really want to pick up are a little pricey, and I do not want to do that. Some oh October, maybe we're going to do some. Sorry, my tube light face is very weird. When are you diving into Monk? I I had a face, but then I realized they're very expensive, and I'm kind of saving up on books because I really want to finish most of the books I haven't read. Short story sounds fun. Yeah, it does. We should also do a session on School of Life. Maybe we can read it along. In every Thursday session, we can pick, because in my experience, we can pick up wherever we want to, and it'll be something that we'll understand. It'll be something that will help us mostly. So we can pick up pages at random, and maybe every week we can read at least one particular topic from the School of Life. Chetan is shifting to, oh, nice. That's lovely. I hope you'll enjoy the weather there. That's really nice. Check out White Nights by Dostoevsky. It's a great short story and you will love it. Wonderful. Please read Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children. Yes. I think anger is stifled, can take on many forms. My anger has never turned into sadness or grief. Okay, maybe grief, not sadness. My anger usually turns into passive aggression. Come to Bangalore. I do want to. I think I'll be making a trip in, I don't know, most likely it'll happen next year. Uh, Godfather is an awesome read. What's your thought on And Then There Were None? It's nice. No, Nikhil, I'm adding all these to my. Hey, Trishana, nice. It's cold. Nice. How many of you have been watching Formula One races? Formula One races. Lovely. Also, are there any books that you'd like to recommend? Uh, when will we just had a meetup in Jaipur recently. I think we did it in June or maybe July. I can't remember. I think it was in June when we did the meetup. Um, my anger turns into guilt. Same. It like it's very easy to make me feel guilty. It is extremely easy. I feel guilty even when there is no need for guilt. Guilt is my new best friend. It's always there through thick times and thin. Yep. Oh, Mantu, nice. I also have to read this book, which has a collection of short stories from. I'm such an idiot. I'm not. Wow, nice. I know, Nikhil. I know. So we have a WhatsApp group dedicated to sports, and all our godfathers. If you become a gladiator, you can be part of one WhatsApp group, but mostly it has godfathers. A lot of godfathers. Anytime there's sports, Formula One, football, cricket, etc., etc. Nikhil is there. Nikhil is there for every sport, and I'm like, oh, how does he get time to watch everything and then also watch movies and also read? Mhm. Do I believe in luck? No. Do I believe in luck? Not really. I do not. Or maybe I do. I don't know. How many of you believe in luck? Do you also believe in astrology? Oh, I don't know. Mm, oh, I had to share a couple of things with you. For one, though, you should check out the newsletter. It'll be in the newsletter this weekend. And you can, the link is still pinned in the chat, so you can subscribe to the newsletter. Look at us motivating our newsletter. What's wrong with me? Plugging in our newsletter. Uh, oh, you know what? Who's I talking to recently? That's the thing. Oh, I was talking to a colleague of mine, Chalchitra colleague, and the person talked about this book, Why We Sleep, and I've been wanting to pick it up. I had been wanting to pick it up, but the way he recommended it made me want to pick it up even more. That the more you sweat, the luckier you get. That's what I believe. I mean, yeah. I think it's not even about hard work. I think it's mostly about uh, you should know how to be. And I don't know. Not going to comment about these things. How many of you believe in astrology? My mother does a lot. It's a pain on most days. But I've been listening recently. I don't know if it happens to you, but things that I've been listening to recently. Oh, you're a Taurian, right? Oh, that's why you're so lazy. Oh, you're a Taurian, right? That's why you're such a homebody. I'm like, what? But yeah. You recently visited Blossom? Wow. I love the section that they have for children's books. Wonderful. Um, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit. Wherever wrote that name. I just made a fool of myself, no? Yeah, I did. But why would you name her all of a sudden. Vijayalakshmi also happens to be, um, in my defense, Vijayalakshmi also happens to be the name of somebody who's friends with my friend. So that's where I've heard that name, Vijayalakshmi. But she's Pal, I think. Oh my God. मेरे को बहुत पसीना आता है, but what? Okay, views on Robert Greene recommendations in psychology. I think Robert Greene is pretty cool. I like him, but I would also recommend him with a disclaimer to people, because I've seen a lot of people read Robert Greene and then read a little too much into it or a little too less into it and then sway in the wrong direction and then be like, but Robert Greene said that. No, but you're being an asshole. Sorry. Zen and the Art of More. I love that book. Did I say that? Did I? I love that book. More you sweat in peace, less you bleed in war. True, true, true. Or is it? Isn't roasted peanuts the best? I think hazelnut is best. Hazelnut cookies, hazelnut coffee, hazelnut chocolates, hazelnut with Nutella on them, hazelnut in general. Hey, Nutella is hazelnut, right? Such an idiot. I don't know, but I like hazelnut a lot. Also, there's this poem that I want to talk to you about. Actually, I want to talk about something. I just realized. Okay, now we can waste our time. We've worked hard a lot. Okay. So my friends are messaging me about the color and then they're like, we got really excited for something. I'm like, anyway, there's this thing that I wanted to share with all of you. It's a poem by, I know a lot of you have problems with me pronouncing it as poem, but it is We Have Not Long to Love by Tennessee Williams. And it says, we have not long to love. We have not long to love. Light does not stay. The tender things are those we fold away. Coarse fabrics are the ones for common wear. In silence, I have watched you comb your hair. Intimate the silence, dim and warm. I could, but did not reach to touch your arm. I could, but do not break that which is still. Almost the faintest whisper would be shrill. So moments pass as though they wish to stay. We have not long to love, a night, a day. I've really been enjoying Tennessee Williams lately. I think it's just a phase in life. Oh, also, anyway, thank you for coming live today. Can't deal with it. Oh, what result? What result is coming out, Rashmi? Tell us. Can't deal with the result anxiety. Abhi, I just want to escape in books, stories, and discussions. Oh, Rashmi, don't worry about the result. It's okay. Tomorrow is always going to be there. And you can just relax, which reminds me of another thing. And this is something I've been reading out to myself every time I feel shitty. And I also shared it on my Instagram recently. And there were start playing me. Anyway, so I recently posted, I posted it in August. It's barely been a month. And so many people responded to the piece. And it was surprising because I thought I was the only one struggling because I'd shared like, hey, and then there were so many people who liked it. I was like, hey, let me just post it because it, I think, helped a lot of people. And I was really glad. And it's by Elena Mikhalkova. I don't know how to pronounce her name. My grandmother once gave me a tip. In difficult times, you move forward in small steps. Do what you have to do, but little by little. Don't think about the future or what may happen tomorrow. Wash the dishes, remove the dust, write a letter, make a soup. You see, you are advancing step by step. Rest a little. Take a step and stop. Praise yourself. Take another step, then another. You won't notice, but your steps will grow more and more. And the time will come when you can think about the future without crying. And I just really liked it. And I shared it with everyone, and I was so happy it helped a lot of people. The Hard Things About Hard Things. Oh, that's a wonderful book. If you're someone who's starting out, it's a great book for direction. But if you're someone who's in the business, wants to run your business, I think this is a book that will help you make some of the strongest decisions in your life, and it'll make you realize how entrepreneurship or leadership is a big responsibility, and you should not take it so easily. It will teach you how it's the right example of with great power comes great responsibility. Yes, I also share it in my newsletter. I share it everywhere. But yeah, take your steps little by little. And if you have an exam, because I also know my sibling is in class 12th, he just passed 12th class, so he's going to go for college this year. So I know it's a stressful time for a lot of people who are in their 12th class, who just passed 12th class, have boards results coming out, have different examinations happening. It's okay. Don't stress much about it. It's going to be all right. And I hope this stream helped you guys. Do hit the like button. Do share this with people. If you don't want to share this stream with people, because I understand there might not be that much value, shouldn't undermine myself, right? So there's great value in the stream. But in any case, do share it with people. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to grow. Let's hit 10K super fast. It's like a small step. Share it with people. I really am praying somebody would get a hoarding with like, subscribe to Kitaabi Cabins. But do subscribe to the channel. Share it with your friends, pals. And if you have certain ideas for the stream, for the newsletter, do share them with me. We'll be happy to experiment, especially in the newsletter business. And I should stop moving on the chair like this. But I hope you liked all the books that we spoke about discussed in the stream. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. And do read The Picture of Dorian Gray, which is the book for the month. And I'll see you somewhere in the last week of September to discuss the book. And I have a great surprise for October's book a month. It's not going to be School of Life, not yet. But all the best, guys. Take care. Take it slow. Take it step by step. And remember that you can stay forever young. Why would I say that? There's this thing that I once read when I was growing up, and it helped me a lot because I was never religious. Okay, I was very religious when I was growing up because I used to live with my grandmother. But then, of course, life happens. In any case, there was this quote that really helped me when I was growing up. It always said, keep the green tree in your heart. It's a Japanese proverb that says, keep the green tree in your heart. Heart. T. Heart. The singing bird will surely come. And I do not know what was it about the quote, but it really helped me. Just, it's not about, I'm not saying stay always positive, but take steps. Do not slow down. I mean, slow down, but do not stop. And be kind to yourself. And I think we'll get through life. Listen to A Niche Thing by Anish Basin. Thank you so much, Narotam Singh. I've taken note of your recommendation. And before I start, there's Kranti in the comments. Hi, Kranti. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. But keep the green tree in your heart, guys. I don't know if the singing bird will come, but you'll definitely need it in times of deforestation. And before my jokes get any worse, I'm going to take your leave. And it was an amazing session. I'm glad you guys were here. And I'll see you guys next week. Have a wonderful weekend.